Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the feature race at the Spa on Sunday is race number 9, the $100,000 Galway Stakes, going 5.5 furlongs on the turf for 3-year-old fillies. You can play the race on the nice Spa card with a DRF Bets account. Sign up, grab that $100 deposit match, and start firing away with DRF Bets. Let's meet the field of sophomore fillies stepping 5.5 on the weeds in the Galway Stakes. Abyssinian might have aimed a little too high last time out for trainer Wesley Ward. They tried the grade 3 quick call against the boys. She was bet down to 9-2. She showed her customary early speed, and it was a pretty decent field that beat her. She also caught yielding ground that she might not have liked. You're going to know her early on Sunday.
Yeah, she's got a lot of speed. That was a pretty tough spot last time over yielding turf, and she just took too much pressure, I think. 2 of her last 3 starts against Colts. So the one time they ran her against fillies in May, I mean, she contested a pretty quick pace. The winner came from last and ran her down. This horse has credentials to win this race.
The number 2, Brooke Marie, comes in off a win for trainer Christophe Clement. And while I like the way she powered away from those horses at Monmouth last time out, she got a really nice trip from Nick Juarez. She broke, she settled inside, she picked up a head of steam on the far turn, got to the outside of the pace setter, and ran him down. Another good trip could be coming from post 2, however.
Yeah, I thought she could get a good trip at this race because there's a lot of speed in this race, and she's not going to want to be on the lead early. She didn't beat a great field last time. I just think it's worth noting that she's much better as a 3-year-old since Lasix has gone on. Even her 3-year-old debut, Dan, she ran really well that day. That was an extremely slow pace, and they took her back to last. She still almost got up.
Let's talk about the speed in this race by utilizing the Timeform US Pace Projector. And you know there's gas in here because the number 3 Sister Peacock has been within a half length of the lead or closer or on the lead in every single one of her starts. Timeform US has her tied for 6th, actually, after a quarter mile in the Galway. 2 starts back, I liked the work she did at Woodbine, going 6.5 furlongs. She was the favorite that day. She pressed a big long shot, took over, and she won very, very easily. Last time, I think that mile was a little bit tough for her, and she was going against a nice Chad horse.
Yeah, that was a really tough spot last time. She didn't run poorly at all. Listen, she's 4 for 4 sprinting. She has real easy speed. There's just a lot of pace in this race, so I feel like that could work against her, but this filly's pretty good.
Do you worry when you see horses cutting back from a mile to 5.5 that it's going to dull their speed? I mean, this horse has cut back from a mile to 6 and has run just fine in gate-to-wire fashion, but that was against a different pace scenario on a synthetic surface.
I mean, I do think turning back from route to sprint on turf is way tougher than it is on dirt for some reason. This filly feels like she can handle it, mostly because she's really a sprinter at heart.
Michael Stidham added blinkers to Miss Miz last time out, and you could argue that that's what put her over the top. I'd argue that she got a candy trip under Paco Lopez, where she saved ground behind a good pace. The rail opened up, and there was just a gigantic hole. And while Miss Miz shot on through, I didn't think she was finishing with a great deal of gusto.
Yeah, we look at it the same way. I know that the figure that she got for that race suggests she took a big step forward. I'm not so sure that's the case. That was a pretty weak field. She got a perfect trip.
Karama's interesting because her sprint races are pretty good, and being by Kitten's Joy out of a European family, of course you're going to want to stretch her out. In her first race around 2 turns, it was just fine. She had a big lead in the Boiling Springs after going fast, but maybe the open mind 2 starts back showed that she's more of a sprinter. Last time out in the Stormy Blues, she got away with murder on the front end. That's not going to happen here, but I have a feeling maybe she can sit and finish. I'm not sure we've seen her best. She's 4-1 in the morning line. I think she drifts a bit.
I agree with that. You know, she won that race easily last time right on the front end. That's just because she's a really good horse. She just got right to the front and was way better than those horses. That's not necessarily the case here, Dan. But she looks like a really talented horse. I think she's really dangerous in here.
Chelsea Cloisters, well, Wesley Ward thought enough of Chelsea Cloisters that after her debut last year, she was sent over to Europe where she was Group 3 placed sprinting, going 5 furlongs. Now, she's come back and she's hit the board in all 5 starts. Last time out in an allowance race against a few older horses. Here's a Wesley Ward formulator fact. Past 4 years, 3-year-olds only. In turf sprints, 5 to 7 furlongs, 61 to 120 days, 10 for 35. 29% winners, $2.82 ROI. This horse can sit a bit also.
Yeah, it's true. You just wonder, at least I wonder anyway, when they're going to get aggressive with her again this year. You know, she ran really well. After her debut, she didn't win again, but she ran really well in some really tough spots. They came off the layup this year. I thought she had an impossible trip at Keeneland, very wide in a good field. And I don't know what they were doing last time, just sitting there as her stablemate walked on an easy lead and she couldn't get there. She's better than her last 2 races, that's for sure.
It's just hard to imagine Ward going after Ward, with Abyssinian down inside and Chelsea Cloisters outside. We'll see what Jose Ortiz does. He rated a little bit with this horse last fall at Keeneland in the Indian summer. If this pace falls apart, Elsa can run him down. We saw what Elsa could do in her career debut at Laurel. I thought she was super impressive that day. She then ran a good third in the Bolton Landing coming from off the pace. She won the Jimmy Durante around 2 turns with a late run. It just seems Michael Stidham's had a whale of a time keeping her sound. They're cutting her back in distance here. In Dave Grenning's DRF Advance, he says, well, maybe Elsa's kind of 50-50 for this race, but if she does start, she's going to get pace.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she does run here because I think this is a good spot for her. I liked her debut a lot last year. I thought she looked good winning against a pretty good field. She got a bad trip and a bad ride in the Bolton Landing up here and ran better than it looks. And then she caught that bog in the Salima. That's it for sprinting for her. I know that she's done well stretched out, Dan. She won the grade 3. To me, she's had 2 impossible trips so far this year, going longer and now a layoff. I like the idea of them cutting her back for this race. And if there's pace in front of her, I think she'll come running at the end.
I think O'Keefe, the number 8's a little bit interesting, but this is another speed horse in a race packed with speed. The only disappointing efforts have come on dirt. I think all of her synthetic races are good. I think that synthetic form can translate to the turf because I think she has enough turf pedigree.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she could switch over to turf with her pedigree. Larry Ravelli's a very dangerous trainer. This horse has a lot of speed at a price I wouldn't dismiss her too lightly.
Let's talk about the horses coming out of the Coronation Cup. Bohemian Bourbon, Eye in the Sky. Both of these horses looking to get advantageous race flows with a lot of pace signed on. That being said, I didn't love either one of their races in the Coronation Cup. I know Break Even, the winner of that race, is undefeated and brilliantly fast, but other horses did the dirty work on the chase. Bohemian Bourbon saved ground. She was in at least a little bit of traffic in the stretch. Eye in the Sky came the long way around, but I think they benefited from those chasers getting tired in the lane.
Yeah, I can't argue with any of that. Bohemian Bourbon just feels like she has to improve to get a bigger piece of this race. Eye in the Sky, she's not bad.
No.
She could get the right trip in this race. I thought she ran fine last time. It didn't make me want to bet her back, but I can see her running well in this race too.
And they could get the right setup again. Let's take a look at our picks in the Galway. Tough race this year. I like Karama. I liked what she's done sprinting thus far, whether it be on dirt and on turf. The key is whether she can rate. I'm not sure she's as fast as Abyssinian and O'Keefe and some of the others in here, but she'll be in the mix early. They could be going very fast. I went 5, 4, 2, and 8. You're going with Elsa from way out of it. If Elsa scratches, who do you land on?
Yeah, I put her on top in this race. I guess if she doesn't run, I would scratch into Brooke Marie, the 2, because I think she can get a good trip in this race. Obviously, if she scratches, though, it means the 11 Tobago gets in. I would definitely use that horse.
Fun race, the $100,000 Galway, full field of 3-year-old filly turf sprinters. Get involved with that DRF Bets account and the $100 deposit match that goes along with it. Learn more, drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the Galway, 5:18 Eastern. Good luck.